Welcome to RN Homesteading. I'm your host, Nemesis, and what we're doing today is we're getting some tomatoes planted out, but we're going to do this in a little bit of a different fashion than what most people are used to seeing. It's a little bit of a technique that I saw a few other people doing. Uh, was really interesting, and I was like, man, that actually makes a lot of sense, and I want to try it this year. So here, let's go to hoping that I don't kill all my tomato starts off here in the process of this. So what are we going to need for today? One, we're going to need some soil mix, whether you're using like a pro mix, some soil. We want it to be of like a little bit of a moist consistency, but not where it's clumping. We want it to stay loose like this, but not like dusty and dry, right? We want a little bit of a moisture content just in the very beginning, right? Oop, that was a little piece of stick in there. Um, and what this is going to do is having a little bit of moisture in here is going to allow us to scoop it up into the pots that we're using. That'll be nice. And then we're also going to be just plucking these right out of here. And you can see how, let me show you guys. Let me show you. These are some cherry tomatoes. See how they're all packed in there? We have to separate those. What's nice about separating the tomatoes at this stage, the roots aren't intertangled to each other. And you guys, don't worry. You can actually break a little bit of the roots. You don't have to be like perfect. Oh my God. I mean, we don't want to manhandle them either, but you can certainly, this is like the perfect stage to transplant them into their pots and then get them off to the races. As you separate them, they'll be able to take up the nutrients a little bit better and all that good stuff. And you want to kind of catch them while they're in this nice little young stage like this. Why? Because again, we don't want to let the roots intertangle with each other. It's just easier just to let them get a little bit of roots established and then separate them real fast and then transplant them out. It's still too cold outside to be doing that. My overnight temps have been hovering around 20 to 30 degrees first thing in the morning. So we're not ready to plant anything else. I haven't even done bed preparations out there yet. But I've got everything rocking and rolling in the house. Why? Because otherwise I don't have enough growing season outside to get everything to up to production the way I want it to be. So if you do this right, the plants won't barely even know that you've done this. So the first things that you're going to need, of course, are going to be at least a 4-inch pot. 4 to 5-inch pots are perfect. We're going to want to have a little tray for collecting some like water runoff that we can put these pots into. And then we're going to want a little bit of a sprayer. And then if you guys have never heard of it, a dibbler. A dibbler is nothing special. It's a fancy little terminology for a thin piece of wood. It's basically a poker of some sort. And this is going to be our tool to help us with the transplanting and the separation if needed on these plants. So put that off to the side. Now for right now, I don't need to worry about separating these. So the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a few pots to get them started here. Are all these the same? Yes, cool. And we don't need to do a whole lot. You're not packing in. So we flip in a little bit of soil, scrape it flat. Now you see I'm not even, now you can sit there and drop it a little bit and then if you really wanted to, but we're not trying to actually get this stuff to be packed in here in any way, shape, or form. I need it to be loose. The reason being is that this is going to help me during the transplant process. If you pack this down, you will have a harder time. You will damage the roots. You want it to be nice and loose. That's why you don't want this to be too dry, nor you want it to be too wet. And then you just kind of, just like that, maybe a little bit more in there, because like as you water, that's when everything will tighten up, is when you put that water in there. But for right now, That's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up as many pots as I can fill up into here and go from there. So we'll cut back to you guys when I got this all filled up. I'm not going to bore you with this. That's the pots that I'm going to have filled up for my cherry tomatoes. The wife believes that there is 2 different varieties of cherry tomatoes that she had put into the same pot. So I've got to sit there and kind of figure out what's what here. So I'm going to try, like, it's hard to say, but I think I can tell the difference. I mean, they do kind of look the same. But there are 1, 2, 3 here that seem to be growing about the same, and then 1, 2, and 3 that are growing about the same. So what I'm meaning by that is the amount of seeds that sprouted. So I'm hoping that the ones that sprouted a lot of seeds are one variety, and the one that sprouted the least amount of seeds was the other variety. That's the direction that I'm going to go with this, and I'm just going to run with it. So there's no real easy way of doing this. You kind of like, we took a tomato slice and just took a slice, whatever seeds that were in there, we put it into the dirt. So what I'm thinking is I should be able to just grab one of the tomatoes that were there and separate the seedlings out of it. We're going to see how that goes, and then I'm going to put 1 seedling into each one of these pots. I'm figuring that we're going to be able to grow about 5 of these. So we're going to try to grow out a bunch of these, and then the ones that we're not going to keep for ourselves, we'll try to sell them off for, like, you know, $3 a pot. And that'll should be fair enough. So let's see if I can do this. I've never done this before. This is new. I don't know if there's a good way or a bad way of doing this. I just tried to pick up everything. We're going to see here about how easy it is to separate. Should probably do this over a container, because I feel like I'm making a mess already. Trying to do a little hand separation here. I don't know if this is too soon for them. I'm just actually trying this for the first time. Let's see if I can separate any of these. So there's some that are really small here. I don't think are going to be very viable. All right, we got 1. Hey, this might work. Oh, as soon as I loosened up that first one, now they're kind of separating. Cool. And I'll try to take the bigger, more healthier ones out of this. Ah, this is kind of cool. I've never separated tomatoes like this. As you see, I'm kind of just laying them out onto the soil. I'll come back and I'll put them in. And we'll see how this works. That one was a little tangled. So I'm kind of taking them right at that perfect point, I think. Because these roots were just starting to kind of get intertwined a little bit, or intertwined. These are going to be tests, so I'm going to test this out and see how well this works. Now, when you're doing this, take your little dibbler or your little wooden stick and go right where the main stem that was above the soil kind of turns a different color, and then you just kind of dibble it in, and it should, just like that. Oh wow, that kind of worked out perfectly, actually. Let's see about this. Oh, look at that. I've never done this before. This is actually kind of cool. This actually works, and it stands them up. And remember, the tomato's actually kind of a cool little plant that they will create new roots. And kind of set these things in as deep as you can. And they should survive. Wow. And then I'll water these in right afterwards. That one's got a healthy root on there. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. That actually worked out pretty dang good, actually. Wow. Then you can just sit here and just give them a good watering in. And I didn't pack this soil down in any way, shape, or form. I figured that when I water them in, the watering in would be what packs that soil in, because this is like super loose soil. All right, so these are nice and watered in. Now I've got to go on to and grab another cluster and plant these in and see how this all goes. That seemed to worked out pretty decently, I guess. Let's see if I can do this again. Hey, this works out pretty dang good. Just like that, and then you just water them in, right? Rinse and repeat with all of these, water them all in. And then the only other thing that you guys can do that would be a little bit extra for it is if you wanted to put vermiculite on top of it like a mulch. What vermiculite is basically it's volcanic rock, but vermiculite will hold on to moisture a little bit. So you can sprinkle it up onto the top, and what does that do for you? It stops the pot from just like draining out all of its water. It'll keep the top of the soil a little bit moist, and it'll stop it from like evaporating everything out. It does help, guys. It does. So if you want to be like a little proactive, that would be a pro tip. I will do that with these. So hope you guys find that like something like this pretty interesting. I did whenever I learned about this particular technique. Have you ever done that? Done like transplanting while they're like little seedlings like this with a dibbler? If so, put that down in the comments down below, because this is my first time. This actually like went pretty decent, and I bet you everything will survive. I absolutely bet you everything will survive, and if not, I have a whole bunch more that I haven't even gone through, because this is what I was planning on planting. What I'm going to be using for my garden is probably about 5 of these. 5 or 6 of these are going to be for my garden, and then the rest of them will be for sale. If these all survive the next couple of days, I'll go ahead and transplant a few more of these ladies here, and in preparation for being able to sell some of these. So yeah, if I put them into the pots like this, grow them out, they're like $3 a plant. You know, think about what you pay for if you get them from the store. So if you guys, this is the first time you've ever seen anything like that, certainly don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And with that being said, everybody, thank you everyone for being here, watching my videos, and may your thumbs always be green. I'll see you on the next one.